When the first shot of the American Revolution was fired, Lafayette was only 17 years old. Regardless of his age, he was one of the many enlightened minds who heard it. When he made his tour of the country in 1824, he came to Lexington. It was September the 2nd, 1824. How could he not? As the last surviving Major General of the Continental Army, he was the embodiment of the Revolutionary War spirit. So naturally, Lexington was the perfect platform for his message. Lexingtonians saw in his visit an opportunity to bundle in a celebration of their town and more specifically, consolidate recognition of the superior role that it played on behalf of all rebels during the American Revolution. Today, we are here to see for ourselves how Lexingtonians remember Lafayette and tap into his legacy to keep the story of their town solidly weaved into the fabric of the country. Can you speak to the history of this room and the building in general, Monroe Tavern?
We're here in the Washington room of the Monroe Tavern, in the room where Washington dined in 1789. It is set the way that it would have for Washington's visit. The chair that he sat in is here. The table is set with period china. This tavern has origins back into the 1600s. Through the years, it has hosted Washington, but before that, it was a British field hospital as the British returned from Concord during the retreat. The tavern still shows signs of that brief occupation. In the tap room downstairs, there's a bullet hole in the ceiling that generations of Monroes made sure that they weren't covering up whenever the ceiling would get repaired. There's a portrait here of William III. On Antiques Roadshow, if there's a mar in a painting, they're going to tell you that it's no good anymore. But if the mar in the painting, like that one, has a bullet hole in it, then that's really just adding to the value.
What is the spirit that takes him here? Why is he coming to New England and to Lexington specifically?
Washington came here during his first year as president. That was 1789. He was traveling through the states during that time to drum up support for the Constitution. It was a fact-finding mission, a promotional tour. When he was about to enter a town, he would exit the carriage, mount his white stallion, because the man knew how to make an entrance. He had a series of white stallions throughout the war. The first of those stallions was a gift from the Marquis de Lafayette.
Can you speak about the significance of Washington's visit to Lexington?
What he wrote in his journal that day, on November 5th, 1789, was dined at Colonel Monroe's and viewed the spot on which the first blood was spilt in the dispute with Great Britain. For him, all the other stuff that he was supposed to be doing that day on a promotional tour wasn't as important as to stand where the embattled farmers stood, to be where it all began. Your own name on it.
Yeah.
So it says Japan Smythe. Washington was a father figure for Lafayette, just as Washington treated Lafayette as a son, the son he did not have. Like Washington, Lafayette was touring the country. He actually visited all 24 states that were in the Union in 1824 and 1825.
Why did Lafayette come to Lexington in 1824?
Lafayette was invited to come to the States by President Monroe as the nation's guest, and the nation treated him as their guest. 1824 and 1825, the time that he was here, was 50 years after the Declaration of Independence. Monroe wanted to have the country celebrate that event, and having the last surviving general come here was a really good idea.
So Washington comes here, he's like the paragon of national unity in 1789. What is the message that Lafayette carries with him in 1824? Is it that of national unity? What has changed? Why does it matter that he comes here to talk to Lexingtonians, greet them? What is his message, and how does the town and the people here interpret the visit of Lafayette?
It was because of his story. The story of someone who spent his fortune, who risked his life to help America gain independence. That story still resonated with the people of America, and in particular, the people of Lexington. Everybody put their best foot forward to greet this hero of the Revolution. We had enough advance notice that the town was able to allocate some money for this celebration. They erected a triumphal arch. They created a 39-foot long linen banner that said, "Welcome, friend of America, to the birthplace of American liberty."
So when Lafayette comes here in 1824, Washington had passed away. Does he become the incarnation of this national unity narrative? Without Washington, that's Lafayette's role. He takes that on, he goes all over the country. What is the impact of that message that he carries when he comes to Lexington?
During Washington's trip, he was the symbol of the revolution, the symbol of unity for the country. When Lafayette comes here, Washington has died. The country needs a symbol of national unity, and Lafayette fills that void for the country.
April the 19th, 1775, on that day, the revolution starts, right? But there's also this revolutionary spirit. Is it still here? Has it changed over time? What has become of it?
Company, Frenchmen, load.
Causing change by action is something that still permeates Lexington's political discourse. In 1775, Lexington's militia were defending their town. They were defending their rights as Englishmen. In the mid-1800s, the cause was abolition. At the beginning of the 1900s, Lexington rallied around women's suffrage. One of the issues today for Lexington activists is climate change. The reasons for taking action change, but that spirit, that revolutionary spirit, has endured through the generations.
What makes you proud as a Lexingtonian today? Why are you doing what you do? Why do you celebrate history? Why do you have an interest in Lafayette? Why does he represent that really captures or motivates you to do what you do?
The town's history is important to me, and being able to share that with other people is important. We're approaching the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Lexington and many other places around the nation are gearing up to celebrate that anniversary. When Lafayette came here, it was 50 years after the fact. The same excitement that we're feeling today was the excitement that they were feeling then, even though 200 years have passed. A few weeks ago, I was passing in one of the corridors of one of the houses as a young child entered. And his immediate reaction was, oh, wow. To get that reaction from somebody, to get that little glint in their eye. David McCulloch once said that to understand history, you have to be where it happened. You have to stand in that place. Washington knew that. Lafayette understood it as he stood on the green with the battle survivors, to be in these rooms where Washington sat and ate. That's the experience that you have coming here to these places.
Starting something, anything, is a hard thing to do. Starting something that works, even more. Because the American experiment has been successful, the importance of where it started has been compounded to the benefit of Lexington and the surrounding towns constitutive of the national narrative. Lexington shall forever be weaved into the storytelling of the American Revolution. Lafayette's visit here provided a noble confirmation of what the town claimed in 1775, that it was indeed the birthplace of American liberty. Since 1775 itself, no major milestone anniversary had given Lexingtonians the platform that they needed to establish the superior character of their town in the collective memory of the nation. Lafayette's visit in 1824 gave them the moment they longed for to sustain their own patriotic narrative. To this day, the town looks back at the Frenchmen with benevolent eyes, kindness, admiration, and respect, fostering a spirit of collaboration with other communities in the area whose stories are also interwoven with that of Lafayette. It is our hope that the nation will follow Lexington's lead once again in revering the inspirational legacy of General Lafayette as it marks 250 years of independence.